morning, dear students. I am Miss NAVEDA SHAIKH from Brahan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika MCGM virtual class. I welcome all my dear students to another and interesting session. In today's session, we'll be learning something new and interesting from a science textbook. So let's get started. Good morning, dear students. I am Mrs. NAVEDA SHAIKH from MCGM virtual class. I welcome all my dear students to another and interesting session. In today's class, we'll be learning a very interesting chapter from a science textbook, that is sound. Now, from the time we get up till the time we go to sleep, we hear so many different types of noises and sound, music around us, right? Sometimes in the morning you get up with the help of an alarm. अलार्म क्या है, अलार्म की भी एक अलग तरीके की साउंड होती है जिसकी वजह से हम लोग उठते हैं. There are so many different sounds when you are sitting in the house. You hear so many different sounds around you outside the house. Sometimes you're watching television on the phone. You hear so many different types of sound coming. So ये सारे examples of sound around us in your class, or when you are in the house, when you're talking to your friends, or if you're talking to somebody softly, that time also you are able to hear, right? हम लोग एक दूसरे से अगर slowly भी बात करते हैं तो we are able to hear. If you're talking in our ears also with each other, private कुछ talk हम लोग की होती है, तो that time also you are able to hear the sound, right? So there are various types of sound that you hear when you used to go to the school. Which sounds do you hear during the recess in the school? You hear the ringing of the bell, right? When there is silence in the classroom, when you close your eyes and sit quietly, which sounds in your surroundings can you hear? So if I ask you to close your eyes and listen to the sound around you, which types of different sound are you able to hear? So you might, if your house is near a road or near a street, you will be able to hear the traffic police person whistling. You can hear a girl who's singing. You might hear the chirping of the birds, or a man or a boy playing a flute or any musical instrument, or firecrackers if there's a festival around us. Any type of festivals, like you have Diwali, various festivals where you use firecrackers, or during weddings we hear the sound of firecrackers around our houses or school. You must have also heard about heard the sound of a dog barking or a cat meowing. Okay, so these are a few examples of various sound that we hear around us. Some sounds are loud and are heard easily, while some others are very soft and cannot be heard unless we listen attentively. We like some sounds, on the other hand we get annoyed by some other sounds, right? हम लोगों को कुछ sounds बहुत अच्छी लगती है, like if there's music, you like that sound. But sometimes you hear that if there is a dog barking, if the dogs are fighting, you do not like that sound, है ना? हम लोगों को जब झगड़ा होता है उसमें जो sound होती है वो अच्छी नहीं लगती है. But if somebody is singing, if some musical instrument is playing, we are able to hear that sound and we like that sound. So there are some sounds that we like, and some other sounds which annoy us, which do not feel pleasant to our ears, right? There are some sound which are easily audible to you, जो आराम से हम लोगों को सुनाई देते हैं, और कुछ ऐसी sounds होती है जो हम लोगों को बहुत ध्यान से सुनना पड़ता है. If suppose there is a friend of yours who speaks very softly, बहुत आराम से और बहुत slowly बात करता है, तो हम लोगों को उसे बहुत ध्यान से सुनना पड़ता है ना? अगर कोई आपकी जब टीचर पढ़ाती है आपको क्लास में, so they are very loud and clear, so when they are speaking you are able to hear them very easily. But if your friends want to talk to you, what do? They talk to you they talk very softly, and you have to we have to be very attentive while listening to that talking, okay, along amongst your friends. So with this, I hope this is clear. Okay, some sounds are loud, some are soft, some are some you feel very good, and some sound are very annoying to your ears. Now let us understand as to how sounds are produced. If you play a loudspeaker, okay, and if you put a few gems on the screen of the speaker, okay, here if you notice that when a song is played on a radio or a music system in the house, If you place your hand on the speaker, what does it feel? Or if you spread some sawdust or mustard seeds or the gems like here I've done in this picture on the diaphragm of any instrument like the tabla or the speaker, and if you knock the diaphragm lightly with the finger, what do you see happening as long as the tabla makes a sound? If you notice the objects that produce sound, that is the diaphragm of the speaker, the rubber band, the diaphragm of a तबला. diaphragm किसे कहते हैं? ये जो लेयर है ना जिसके ऊपर हाथ हम लोग बजाते हैं, जिसके ऊपर साउंड प्रोड्यूस होती है, वो उसका डायफ्राम है, ठीक है, तबले का, जो एक्चुअली में साउंड प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है. Now, if you put some amount of raw sawdust on this और mustard seed, राई के दाने अगर हम लोग उसके ऊपर डालेंगे और हल्का सा अगर हम लोग उसे टैप करेंगे ना तबले के डायफ्राम को, तो यू विल नोटिस कि जो डायफ्राम के ऊपर जो भी पार्टिकल्स है वो विल स्टार्ट टू मूव. ठीक है, वो लोग मूवमेंट दिखाएंगे. दे विल शो सर्टेन मूवमेंट इन दैट इज दे हैव अ सर्टेन काइंड ऑफ मोशन. They oscillate rapidly. In other words, they vibrate. We have learned about oscillation, and oscillation means the to and fro motion. If you look at the gems also, you will notice that उन लोग ऊपर जाते हैं फिर नीचे गिरते हैं. So they are oscillating. Same thing happens when any diaphragm, any portion, if you see the on the band also, जब बैंड के ऊपर जब ये बजाया जाता है तो आप लोगों को एक मूवमेंट दिखाई दे रही है. Now that is called as vibration. Okay, so any sound को प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए वाइब्रेशन का होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. There has to be certain amount of motion so that there is sound being produced. The vibration of an object is necessary for the production of sound. If you have a guitar in the house, or if you must have seen anybody playing a guitar, you will notice जो तार होते हैं गिटार्स के, अगर हम लोग उसे हम लोग पुल करते हैं तो what you will notice is वो जो वायर्स होते हैं ना वो हिलते हैं. हिलना मतलब वो ऑटोमेटिकली अगर आप लोग उसे हल्का से भी टच करोगे ना they tend to vibrate. ठीक है, वो हिलने लगते हैं. So that vibration is very important to produce sound. अगर vibrate होगा तो ही sound produce होगा. अगर उसे हम लोग हाथ नहीं लगाएंगे, there will be no vibration, then there will be no sound. Okay, so as long as the object vibrates, और जब तक वो vibrate करता रहेगा, the sound is heard. When the vibration stops, the sound also stops. The object due to which sound is produced is called the source of that sound. So here, if you notice the guitar that we are playing, if you are playing the guitar, you must have noticed that when you are playing with the strings, ठीक है, strings अलग अलग तरीके से उसे टाइट की जाती है. तो जब हम लोग उसे प्ले करते हैं तो वाइब्रेट होता है, और जब तक वो वाइब्रेट होता रहता है तब तक हम लोगों को साउंड सुनाई देती है. जैसे ही वो वाइब्रेट होना बंद हो जाता है, साउंड आनी बंद हो जाती है. ठीक है, सो देयर आर इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स व्हिच मेक द एयर अराउंड देम वाइब्रेट. जब ये वाइब्रेट होती है एयर आसपास की, तो उससे हम लोगों को वो साउंड हमारे ईयर्स तक पहुंचती है, एंड देन यू आर एबल टू हियर दैट साउंड. ओके, सो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू हैव वाइब्रेशन in that object to produce sound, and जब तक वो object vibrate करता रहेगा, you will be able to hear the sound, and when the vibration stops, the sound also stops. And also remember that the object due to which sound is produced is called as the source of that sound. Sound is a form of energy. It is carried in the form of waves. Okay, sound is a form of energy and it is carried in the form of waves. The necessary things are vibration. Okay, so necessary condition to produce sound is vibration of particles. Vibration means the to and fro motion of a particle about its mean position. We have learned in our earlier chapters where we learned about vibration, the to and fro motion. Okay, that is what is vibration. When we hit the drum, the membranes of the drums vibrates, producing sound. When we play a guitar, the strings on it makes the to and fro motion and produces sound. The sound produced by vibrating prong of a tuning fork. These are all examples of objects which are producing sound, and they are you can actually see the vibration happening in them, and this explains us that vibration is very important to produce sound. As I told you that vibration is very important. So if I'm talking right now, or if when you are talking, so do you think that हमारे मुंह से भी जब आवाज निकलती है, you all are able to hear each other, right? So is there certain thing in your body also which is vibrating, so that you can you are able to speak, or you are able to hear each other? So when we speak, does any part of our body vibrate? Is there any body part which vibrates? So you all can do one activity. Okay, you have to place your hand over your throat. ठीक है, हमारे हलक के ऊपर आप लोग हाथ रखोगे and try to speak something. Speak, you will notice that when you place your hand over the throat, you will notice that the throat vibrates. ठीक है, throat actually जो अंदर हमारा जो voice cord है, vocal cord है, वो हिलता है और उसकी वजह से हम लोगों की आवाज हम लोगों को सुनाई देती है. ठीक है, so let's have a clear look of this vocal cord, actually how it looks. Here you can see this man who is speaking. You can see that this pink portion is actually the vocal cord, which is actually vibrating when you are speaking. Here in this picture, it is very clearly shown as to where is this voice box located. ठीक है, so you have to pay attention. आप लोग का जो throat है, where I've asked you to keep your hand over there, if you feel when you're talking, you will notice that there is a little amount of vibration that you can feel on the fingers, and that is one more example कि vibration is actually happening in your body also in order to produce sound. Okay, so the science of sound, resonance, including the production, propagation and effect of sound, is called acoustics. The intensity of sound is measured in units called decibel. Okay, so you have to remember this. जैसे हम लोग को अगर हम लोगों को कोई डिस्टेंस मेजर करना है तो हम लोग मीटर्स या किलोमीटर्स में मेजर करते हैं, राइट? अगर लिक्विड को मेजर करना है तो हम लोग लीटर्स मिलीलीटर्स में मेजर करते हैं. इफ यू वांट टू मेजर sound, so sound also has a special unit for it, so that is called as decibel. What is it called? It is called as decibel. The vibration of the vocal cords in our larynx or voice box also produces sound. The voice box is located in our throat. The quality of the sound produced in the larynx depends upon the tautness of the vocal cord. Now, depending upon person to person, every person has a different sound. है कि नहीं? सबकी sound अलग निकलती है. तो ये depend करता है हमारे larynx के ऊपर. तो हमारी larynx जैसी होगी, उस हिसाब से हमारी sound produce होगी. ठीक है, किसी किसी की आवाज भारी होती है, किसी किसी की बहुत हल्की स्वीट वॉइस होती है, किसी की हार्श होती है. Now that depends upon person to person. हम हर इंसान के लैरिंग्स की साइज स्ट्रक्चर के डिपेंड करता है किस तरीके की वो साउंड प्रोड्यूस करे. ठीक है, so acoustic understood everybody. What is acoustic? The science of sound and resonance, including the propagation, production and effects of sound, is called acoustics. You have to remember this. You have to remember the unit of sound also. The unit of sound is decibels. Where is the larynx located? It is located in your throat. The voice box कहाँ पर है हमारा? हमारे it is located in the throat. The vibration of the vocal cord in our larynx or voice box produces sound. Okay, understood? So these are the few very important things that you need to remember. Now here you have to take a pot filled with water, strike it lightly on its rim. अगर हम लोग उसे हल्के से उसके किनारे पे अगर बजाएंगे स्पून से, you will notice that there will be waves which are formed on the water in the pot. Okay, so what do you see? You will see that there are waves which are formed in the water. Now why is it happening? This is because of vibration. When you are hitting the spoon onto the rim of the vessel, that vessel tends to vibrate. Okay, and when it vibrates, the water inside it also moves. Okay, and that movement of the water appears like waves. Okay, so this shows that there is vibration in the water and production of sound. So what sound can also travel in water. So this is very important कि sound किस किस के through pass होती है. Sound can pass through air, water. Okay, understand that. हम लोग अभी बात कर रहे हैं, you all are able to hear me through sound, through air. एयर के थ्रू ये हमारी जो साउंड है पास हो रही है हमारे ईयर्स तक. आई एम टॉकिंग, you all are able to hear because of the vibration which is happening in the mobile phone or in the laptop that you're watching, and it is reaching into your ears, it is falling onto your ears, and then you are able to hear the things that I'm saying. Okay, same thing happens in water also. So there is vibration in water and production of sound. So let us see how sound is heard. How sound is produced समझ में आ गया था. अब sound सुनाई कैसे देती है? Let us see that. There is air around a source of sound, right? हमारे आसपास में क्या है? Air है. So this air is the main source of most of the sounds that we hear. As the source of sound begins to vibrate, the layer of air nearest to the source also vibrates. ठीक है, we have learned that vibration happens when you are speaking. When I am speaking, my mouth, my throat is vibrating, and because of that vibration, the air around my mouth also is vibrating, because वो sound निकल रही है और वो sound क्या कर रही है? आगे की air को भी vibrate कर रही है. ठीक है, तो the layer of the air nearest to the source also vibrates. अब ये vibration आगे आगे बढ़ती चली जाती है. A wave of vibration that of that sound spreads in all the direction from the source of sound. जैसे मैं बात कर रही हूँ, ये जितनी भी एयर आसपास में है उसके अंदर ये वेव्स ऑफ वाइब्रेशन फैलती चली जाती है. कब तक फैल रही है? Such a wave is called as a sound wave. The sound wave reaches our ears. जब मैं बात कर रही हूँ अब ये sound waves आपके ear तक पहुंचेगी. There is a delicate diaphragm or eardrum in the cavity of our ears. It starts vibrating too. The sensation produced by these vibrations also passes on to the brain through the nerves in the ears, and we hear the sound. ठीक है? So when the waves reaches to your ears, there is a delicate diaphragm. एक पतली सी स्क्रीन होती है जिसे हम लोग ear drum कहते हैं, that is present inside your ears, and it also starts to vibrate. ये vibration वाली जो sound waves जो आ रही है ये हमारे कान तक पहुंचती है, वहां पर भी ये vibration create करती है हमारे diaphragm में, and then there is a sensation produced which reaches from the eardrum to the brain through the nerves in the ears, and we hear that sound. We are able to hear and distinguish कि किस तरीके की sound है, कौन सी sound है. ठीक है? So I hope that is clear how sound is heard. You have to always remember that there will be a source of sound. There should be a source of sound. Okay, there should be a medium, that is the air or water. Air अगर है तो जब हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं, when I'm talking, there is vibration which is created. That vibration is actually coming out from your mouth, and it is vibrating the air around us, air around me, and that vibration goes on and passes on to the layer of air further ahead, and then it reaches to your ears. Ears में पहुंचने के बाद हमारे ear drums पे पहुंचती है ये vibrating waves, and this creates vibration in your eardrum also, and this eardrum then sends message to the brain and through the nerves, and then you come to know that there is sound which is being produced around us और किस तरीके की sound है. ठीक है? So here let us understand, sound from a source reaches the surrounding particles A of the air medium. Here you can see if I have a phone when it starts to ring, it is a source of sound, right? And when it is when it is ringing, it will produce vibration, right? Vibration क्या होती है? Move करती है molecules के अंदर, air के molecules के अंदर, और उसे भी vibrate करती है from A to B, from B to C, and it keeps on moving until it reaches to the ear of a person. Okay, so particles A pushes against particle B and it comes back again. As a result, particle B pushes against C and comes back. This is how vibrations are transferred till they reach the human's ear. Okay, one more example, when the prong of tuning fork moves right and comes back, it compresses the air particles around it, resulting in the formation of compressions. When a prong moves left and comes back, the air particles are separated again, forming rarefaction. So there is movement in the air because of the vibration which is caused by the tuning fork or any source of medium. So propagation of sound. What is exactly propagation of sound? मतलब sound किस तरीके से travel करती है? Sound travels in the form of waves. Always remember किस तरीके से sound travel करती है? In the form of waves. सीधी straight line में नहीं move होती है. It moves in the form of waves through air, water or through a solid and reaches our ears. ठीक है, solid के through भी pass होती है, liquid के through भी और air के through भी, and it reaches our ears. Sound is propagated more clearly through a liquid than through air. So, sound can be heard more clearly through a liquid than through air. It is heard most clearly through a solid. ठीक है? So we have learned about different states of matter, right? तो particles solid के एक दूसरे से बहुत करीब होते हैं, तो ये particles एक दूसरे को वाइब्रेट करके हमारे कान तक बहुत आसानी से और जल्दी पहुंचते हैं. Whereas if we talk about liquid, वहाँ पर भी अच्छे से पहुंचते, but as compared to solid उतना अच्छा नहीं होता है sound. और air में और ज़्यादा time लगता है. ठीक है? So here you can see this longitudinal waves of the sound and you can see how vibration is created and how these waves are moving and moving the particles along with it. Propagation of sound. Sound is said to be propagated with sound waves spread in all directions from a source of sound. So when there is a speaker producing sound, it will create sound waves and that sound wave will spread in all direction from the source of sound. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर ये जो स्पीकर है इसके अंदर से साउंड प्रोड्यूस हो रही है. ये साउंड क्या कर रहा है? वाइब्रेशन प्रोड्यूस हो रही है. ठीक है, द स्पीकर इज द सोर्स ऑफ साउंड. इसमें से साउंड निकल रही है और ये जितना भी एयर है आसपास में उसके थ्रू ये वेव्स स्प्रेड होती है. ठीक है, वेव्स आगे आगे बढ़ती जाती है इन ऑल डायरेक्शन फ्रॉम द सोर्स ऑफ साउंड. Here you can see how this is moving, how the sound waves are actually moving from the source of sound to the in all the directions. The next thing that we have is transmission of sound. Transmission of sound occurs at a different speed through different mediums. Transmission मतलब अब sound तो travel कर रही है, अब वो किस तरीके से travel कर रही है, ठीक है, किस हिसाब से, कितनी fast, कितनी slow travel कर रही है, let us see that. So transmission of sound occurs at different speed through different mediums. Transmission of sound is faster through a liquid then through a gas and faster through a solid than through a liquid. Okay, so in solid you can see the transmission of sound is fast, then liquid and then in gas. You can see in this example also सबसे पहले कौन सी चीज गिर रही है? सबसे पहले solid गिर रहा है, मतलब सबसे पहले solid के through sound pass होती है, then through liquid and then through gas. Let us understand the medium of propagation of sound. The substance around a source of sound through which sound waves spread is called the medium of propagation of sound. So here you can see that if a dog is barking and if you're standing there, okay, a little far away from the dog, when the dog is barking, there is air around us and this air is the medium of propagation of sound. ठीक है, dog is the source of sound, air is the medium of propagation of sound. मतलब किसके through ये sound waves जा रही है? Through air. ठीक है, here also in this picture you can see speaker के अंदर जब speaker vibrate होता है, start होता है, तो वो आगे की जो air है उसको vibrate करती है और particles आगे की तरफ move होते हैं. ठीक है, so this is the medium of propagation. So substances around a source of sound through which sound waves spread is called the medium of propagation of sound. Let's understand about noise pollution. We have learned that there are different types of sounds. कुछ sounds हम लोग को अच्छी लगती है, कुछ अच्छी नहीं लगती है. And the sounds which we do not like are called as noise. Okay, they appear as noise to us. So noise pollution. A loud sound is harsh to the ears. Such sounds produce noise. Now, if you are sitting in a house and there is a child crying for a very long time, it is very annoying, right? If there's a crow which is sitting on the window, and if you keep on hearing the sound of the crow, you will notice that this it appears to be annoying to your ears, and it is also a type of noise to us. If there is an accident outside the window, or on the road, or if you see that somebody is honking very loudly, that also causes noise pollution. If you see television on a very loud music, on a loud volume, that also creates problem to the people around you, because that loud sound is also harsh to our ears. Okay, so there are various things and objects which produce a large sound which is harsh to the ears, and that is called as noise. And noise pollution occurs when we hear one or many sounds harmful to the ear. Now in this picture, you can see so many different types of sound you're coming at one time. Okay, the child crying, the crow making noise, then the television, the loud television, then you have the dog barking, the child playing the drum loudly, okay, the vehicles outside honking. Now these are all happening simultaneously, and they are causing noise pollution. Okay, so here there are a few instance where you can understand what is noise and what is music. As I told you that there are two types of sound. Some sounds are good for us, we find it good, okay, and some are annoying to us. So the sound which we feel good is called as music. It is produced by periodic vibrations. मतलब बराबर से एक particular पीरियड होता है जिसके बाद ये वाइब्रेशंस जनरेट होती है. दे हैव रेगुलर वेव पैटर्न्स एंड दे आर प्लीजिंग टू आवर ईयर्स. इट कैन बी reproduced. Example, sound produced by musical instruments. Whereas noise, it is produced by irregular vibrations. ठीक है, किसी भी तरीके से अगर हम लोग ड्रम प्ले करते हैं जोर जोर से कैसे भी, ठीक है, so there will be irregular vibrations, and it will have irregular wave patterns, irritating to ears, and it cannot be reproduced. Same तरीके की noise नहीं बना सकते ना हम लोग. So example is sound produced by moving buses, trains, or airplanes. Now there are a few measures for preventing noise pollution. As far as possible, we should avoid blowing the horn. ज़्यादा अगर हम लोग कहीं बाहर जा रहे हैं, if you see that there is a traffic jam, you should not honk. ठीक है, ज़्यादा हॉर्न नहीं बजाना चाहिए. तो अगर हॉस्पिटल्स है उसके पास हॉन्किंग नहीं करनी चाहिए. और if there's a school nearby, you should not honk, because it disturbs the people who are studying in the school, or if there is a hospital, the patients might get disturbed. Okay, so you should avoid blowing the horn. The volume of the TV or radio in the house should be restricted to those watching the programs. जो भी televisions पे TV वगैरह हम लोग देखते हैं, तो there should be a minimum amount of sound which is required, उतनी ही होनी चाहिए. ज़्यादा शोर नहीं करना चाहिए हम लोग को, ज़्यादा volume increase नहीं करना चाहिए to watch television or radios in the house. Vehicles should be maintained properly to reduce the unnecessary sounds they produce. So you must have seen in your houses also that your parents keep on going to the garage, taking the vehicles often to the garage, so that the vehicle is well maintained. क्योंकि कोई कोई जब गाड़ी अगर मेंटेन नहीं की जाती है तो वो बहुत ज़्यादा शोर मचाती है. Okay, the parts tends to vibrate very loudly, and they make sounds, and those sounds are also adding into the noise pollution. Okay, so vehicles should be maintained properly in order to reduce the sound that they produce. Now apart from that, factories, airports, railway stations and bus stands should be located at the proper distance away from residential areas. So if you find if people who are living near the railway tracks, you must have you can imagine how loud the noise of the train is going into their house and it is affecting them. ठीक है. So factories है या फिर airports है. Airports, this is a picture of an of our Mumbai airport, and if this airport is located in a very big area, but if you can see that there are residential buildings around also. So factories है या airports है, railway stations है, ये सारी चीजें दूर बननी चाहिए, हमारे घरों के आसपास नहीं होनी चाहिए. ठीक है, रेसिडेंशियल एरिया से दूर होनी चाहिए. There is a very interesting facts about birds like robin and the woodcock. They can recognize the sound of an earthworm in the soil and find their prey. Can you imagine an earthworm? Earthworm कितना slowly चलता है, और अगर suppose वो ज़मीन के अंदर है, still these birds are able to hear their sound and catch hold of them. Okay, so it is so amazing because they can hear the vibration of the sound produced by the earthworm even in the soil. तो उन लोग की जो hearing ability है, it is very strong as compared to us. This is because their hearing organs are very sensitive. Some species of grasshoppers produce a sound by rubbing their legs together while flying in the air. The flapping of the wings of the bee or the mosquito produces a humming sound. Okay, you must have heard the sound of the mosquito. Okay, when you're sleeping, if you hear the mosquito coming near your ear, हम लोग ऐसे ही उसके ऊपर मार देते हैं ना, just on the sound that we hear. वो कैसे sound produce हो रही है, उनकी जो wings है वो flap करने से sound produce होती है. Understood? So with this I hope it is clear कि sound सिर्फ humans नहीं produce करते. There are animals, there are insects which produce sound, and there are animals and birds which are very good in detecting the sounds of various other organisms as well. Hope with this So I hope with this you all have understood what exactly is sound, how it is produced, how it is heard, how it is propagated, how transmission of sound takes place, what is the propagation of medium of sound. Okay, so all these things we have learned in this chapter. We have also learned about noise pollution. How can we control noise pollution? All this we have learned in this chapter. And if you still have any doubts and queries, you can ask us in the comment sections. We'll try to solve all your queries, and please see to it that you'll keep going through the videos in order to have a better understanding of this chapter. Till then, thank you. If you liked our session, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel so that you can share and view the videos that we had today for you. And please do not forget to hit the bell icon so that you remain updated with all the latest videos that we'll be making for our dear students.
This session was quite useful to you. In the next coming period, we'll learn something new and interesting. Till then, thank you.